This really works. You don't know Al-Qaeda was the name of a computer program in '79 for Muslim extremists working for the CIA. You think you're smart. You think you're intellectual because you watch Frontline. And you want to go join like Pat Tillman did. You want to go join Special Forces. You want to go join the Army. You want to go join the CIA. You want to go join Defense Intelligence. They'll have questionnaires. They'll have your whole web surfing history. You'll never be told that. You're compartmentalized. And if you're a good guy, they're going to have you out BSing the local villagers, living with them for 3 years in your Peace Corps front to take vaccines. And because you believe it's really helping him, you'll be the perfect salesman to sterilize those people, and you'll be rotated out before you ever notice that you killed that whole village. Or by the time you notice and learn about how you helped kill the whole village, oh, it'll be too far down the road. You'll be too deep in. Listen to. You'll know your spook wife they stuck you with is really your handler. See, again, it goes on and on and on. You want to work with a bunch of backstabbing, lying, drug-dealing, child kidnapping filth? Oh, I mean, they've got all these compartmentalized nice guys who are nice fellas, who were captain of the football team, to give congressmen tours around the CIA building. Maybe you can get a job doing that. Or you might just be an analyst who goes out and collects field data, in some third world nation. Or you may be the good front of the CIA that goes and gives water purifiers to kids. But that's only so in that area of Africa you'll be trusted so they can then bring in more people behind you. You understand how that works? And I don't want and let's say they teach you the Machiavellian view, the end justifies the means. So the world's so evil, the world's so tough, Alex, you just can't handle the truth. You know, we've got to bring the narcotics into the country because if we don't, some other nation will get... We're always going to want drugs. People are always going to want drugs. And...
I know exactly what you're thinking when it comes to this economy. The banks are crashing.
Yeah, we are back live. Huge stack of news, loaded phone lines. Gary, Steve, Jason, Robert, George, Gabe, Randall. We're going to get to all of you here in just a few minutes. I've been ranting the last 45 minutes or so. Mainly just about how black ops, which are just private corporate mafia muscle with a membrane of U.S. government front, is taking over our society. Now they're handing most of the military, most of intelligence gathering, city streets, government ownership to private corporations. So again, they took our money, they took our dollar, the private banks issued unlimited liquidity to themselves, but backed up by the U.S. population to then come back and buy our governments up. It's in the IMF World Bank documents that got leaked in 2002. They were already well into doing it. Now here we are. Better find out real soon. We're being criminally looted like a bank robbery. Like we got Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, what is it, 50-something trillion dollars we're talking about? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions that were in default but leveraged. Just trillions and trillions and trillions. And it's all a big mistake. It was all a big accident. Oh, we don't know what happened. And now it's being federalized. That means you're going to back it up. You're going to pay for it. You understand? And if you look at what these executives and what these stockholders and what these companies did, it is just, a lot of it's not even stockholding. It'll just be the executives or intelligence operatives or private intelligence operatives, and they'll just steal hundreds of billions a day sometimes. I mean, it's just unlimited. These guys, this makes the Russian looting under the oligarchs look like a kid stealing a stick of bubble gum next to robbing Fort Knox. And for all of you that are getting into intelligence, and the local police are being co-opted into these threat management centers, and these were originally for hurricanes, originally for fires, but now the CIA and the military are in the same office with your local police, and we track everybody off their cell phones and have all this new federal gadgetry in here. The feds are taking over. Period. And they are owned by private corporations. They are owned and completely hoarded out and run. And so a lot of you who are going to get into intelligence, you're going to be the goofballs they laugh at in Black Ops. You're just the front and the paper pushers, those of you that are in intelligence that aren't evil. And you've all been profiled, the Dudley Do-Right, who's on a power trip with his pocket protector and his computer feeling good about himself, while you're part of a whole false reality of what goes on in the whole cloak and dagger world. Oh, man. Reading some of the foreign service magazines. I was in a doctor's office the other day, and it was just all this bull and again, it would hold up troops who were real heroes. Some Marine Corps captain who had his eyes blown out who runs marathons. I think it was Captain Castro. And you can't help but admire him and his courage to go to Iraq and his courage to be in harm's way and his courage to run these marathons now when he was in a coma for 6 weeks and couldn't walk when he woke up. But see, they sandwich that in there with all the propaganda and evil. And see, that's only one little tactic of thousands they're using, and my brain just burns with understanding of the enemy operations. Because I study it. They say what they're doing. It's public. They laugh at you. It's like chemtrails. It's like chemtrails. Will somebody come in here and unlock this computer system? It just locked up, and I can't do it while I'm on air. Thanks. So I want to go to calls, but I can't. The computer system locks up every 5 minutes, wants a passcode, and I just can't do it while I'm here on air. You got to enter like 3 of them or something. Just come on around here and enter the code into the queue. Unbelievable. Anybody? They ought to have this disabled in here. It makes me angry. But all these major newspapers come out and say, okay, the government's got a huge secret program going on since the mid-90s, when we told you it was, spraying deadly poison on the people. I'm going to cover this later after I take some phone calls. Thank you. U.S. government mad scientist geoengineer atmosphere. That's Paul Watson's headline on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. But when you read it, we've got links to all the mainstream news and universities where they admit that they're spraying all these poisons to, quote, save us from global warming, which is bull to begin with. So we're going to break all that down for you. And yes, that's a perfect example of how they've got compartmentalization. There's 6 major kerosene jet fuel suppliers. That's what jet fuel is a type of kerosene. 6 major companies that have got over 90%. There's a few other little stragglers. And they supply the fuel, and then in there, or in some planes actually have sprayers on them, and then it's designed to go through the jet engines and be sprayed out and create nuclei that then cause particula to start forming and to form rain droplets. Remember trails, condensation trails before 96 only lasted a few minutes? Now they're there for hours? That's how dumb they think you are, that you wouldn't notice that? Well, now they just admit what they're doing. We'll tell you about that later. After I take every call that's on this board. Jason in Las Vegas, which is also Mafia New World Order run. You're on the air. Thanks for holding. Go ahead, Jason. Okay, Jason's gone. Let's go ahead and talk to Steve in Texas. Steve, you're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, Alex. I've been listening to you for quite a while now, and of course you're talking about the divide and conquer, mentality that these people are promoting, and I really see a polarization happening in this country. And in the new movie you've got out that Jason has out, it has this quote right at the end from Giuliani, if you're not with us, you're with the terrorists. And I'm seeing this more and more because in talking to, the average person about this stuff, you get one of 2 reactions now. It's either, oh, you're one of those crazy conspiracy theorists. It's like a knee-jerk during the...
It's a cover story. It's a I don't have to think, I'll just throw this term out.
Right. Or you get the people who are starting to do what they were designed to do by their creator, and that's use that brain God gave you and think critically, because you see all these cameras going up everywhere. You see more and more...
And by the way, the Pentagon admits that's Pentagon designed as a slave grid. We are an enemy force. The American people have been listed as an enemy force by Northcom. This is official. The military openly is against us. And that doesn't mean your kid who's in the Marines, folks. Go look into Northcom, look into PED 51.
Yeah, and, Alex, I'm thinking about all these things that you talk about. I mean, you talk about so much on your show. And, the picture is here, they're incrementally poisoning the population through the vaccine, the drugs, the food supply, and the water.
And they admit they are.
They're militarizing the police. They're programming and dumbing down the population, Hollywood, the schools. They're passing legislation and executive orders. They're engineering terror attacks, and they're tracking and monitoring everybody, and then they're systematically dismantling the family through the promotion of...
And they're hiring felons and criminals for the CIA and military. We are in red level emergency.
Right, and yet you talk to people and it's like, don't you do anything besides wonder who's the latest winner of American idolatry?
No, listen, I hear you. But you can't worry about those who, men in black uniforms, could be butchering babies on street corners. They would say they didn't see it. You got to just, it was 5% on the Revolutionary War against the Redcoats in 1776, 1775 when it all kicked off. Went through 1783, 84. Again, we could obsess all day on the losers, the cowards, the idiots, the moron liberals, the moron conservatives who don't know that both parties are bought and paid for. I mean, the Democrats send the Democrats there to end the war, and the